Hey everybody, welcome to American History 1, History 131 online for fall 2019. This is your syllabus tour video. As you are hopefully aware because you're watching this, you received the initial welcome announcement and email for the first day of class with a welcome video and also information about looking in the Welcome to History 131 folder where you found this video, the Blackboard tour video, and this document, your syllabus, along with other important course documents. All right, so we're going to hit the high notes here. You guys need to read this in full. We're going to go over the major points of it because you guys are people who can read. So we do not need to spend, an hour talking about this. We are going to talk about the most important parts. All right, so this is American History 1, History 131, Section I02. The last day to drop this class without a WF is November 4th, so you have a while. Things about me. I am Amanda Jewett-Zakanis. I have an office on campus in the STEAM building, room 124. At the time of this video recording, which today is July 25th, I do not have a phone set up, so I don't have a phone number for you yet, but I will post an announcement when I have an official phone in my office with a number and all that good stuff. So I'm in STEAM room B124 for my office. Office hours are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So on Monday, I will see students from 8:15 to 9:15 in the morning and 2 to 3 in the afternoon. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will be meeting with students from 10 to 11:30 in the morning. Now, if none of these work for you, I am on campus other times as well. These are just the designated office hours. So if these times don't work for you and you still want to meet, send me an email and we can figure out another time that works for both of us. Email address is right below that, and it is the best way to reach me. I check my email several times a day. I'm on campus all day, Monday through Thursday, 7:30 in the morning to 3 p.m. So if you need to get in touch with me, I am checking email when I'm not teaching class and I'm in my office doing other work. I take a glance at my email every couple of hours. I will check my email at home. About 6 p.m. is the last time I check email, and then I'll check it pretty early the next morning. Like I said, I'm on campus by about 7:30 in the morning. So I will check my email a lot, which means you'll hear from me pretty quickly if you have a problem. Also, I'm not a psychic person. I did not get bitten by any radioactive animals or, have any nuclear waste spilled on me, so I have zero superpowers, which means that if you are having an issue or struggling with something in the class or having a personal problem, I am not going to know about that and its impact on your work in the class unless you talk to me about it. Now, of course, I'm not asking you to divulge all your personal secret problems to me, but if you're not turning assignments in and it's because there's a death in the family or you're really sick or you're dealing with an issue, there's a mental health issue, anything like that, you can get in touch with me and let me know what's going on. More on documented excuses later down the page, but if you let me know what's going on, then it doesn't just look like you don't care about the class, because I get students who just don't turn things in because they don't want to. And I'm not going to know that you're not doing that, that you actually have a legitimate reason if you don't tell me. So you got to let me know what's going on. All right. Okay, course description. We are going to start with North America before the Europeans showed up, and we are going to go through to the end of the Civil War and Reconstruction, talking about all kinds of different things. It's going to be pretty great. We are 100% online, as I'm sure you know. Everything is clearly labeled in Blackboard, and when you look at the Blackboard tour video, if you haven't already, you will see details on these folders, week 1, week 2, etc., with all the assignments and everything. Again, if you have questions, email me. Student learning outcomes. Upon completion of the course, you will be able to write argument-driven, evidence-based essays. Yay! We're going to use MLA in here. Read, think, and write historically using primary source documents. Practice critical thinking by creating evidence-based arguments and challenging arguments you are given. Use and recognize the concepts of change, continuity, and contingency to learn how the struggles we face are not unique to our time, and understand what predecessors did when confronted by similar problems. Take responsibility for your own education by asking and answering questions of your own making. This could be as simple as you asking a classmate a question and a comment on their discussion board and them responding to you. So there aren't like a bunch of extra assignments with this. This is just, we are going to have lots of conversations, and you are going to have the ability to ask questions of your own, of other people. So you are going to be in charge of some of this conversation. Become aware of the active historical interpretation through which historians use varieties of evidence to offer perspectives on the meaning of the past. We have different types of evidence. I'll talk about that in a minute. And we're going to use several types of evidence to try to interpret what was going on. Academic arguments. Historians like to argue a lot. I mean, yeah. So, economic, political, environmental, and cultural causes that together transformed life in North America. Witness the creation of an independent United States and its periods of peaceful union. Consider questions of race, class, gender, sexuality, region, ethnicity, and culture to evaluate the continuing struggles for equality and access in America. Books. Books. All right, so we have 2 books in here. Two, count them, 2. They show up on the bookstore site, and you only see the picture of Give Me Liberty, so it might look like there's only 1 book. There are 2 books. 2, please, 2 books. I have the ISBN numbers for both the books here. Give Me Liberty is the textbook. That is what we would call a secondary source. It means that Eric Foner, the scholar, historian guy, looked at a bunch of things from the period, and what he did was write a book about it. Voices of Freedom, a documentary history, is the primary document reader. So Eric Foner compiled a bunch of primary documents. Primary documents are things written by people who lived during the period. So if you're reading something by Frederick Douglass in the 1870s or 60s, that's a primary document. He was alive during that time, writing about things that were happening during that time. And then there will be additional readings on Blackboard that are clearly assigned by me in those specific folders for those specific weeks. We do not use e-text, so skipping right over that. Course overview. How do we explain the rise of the early American Republic and its subsequent division? So we're going to try to figure all that out. We're going to look at, what relationships between natives, Africans, and Europeans. We're going to pay attention to the voices of contemporaries. And we're going to try to answer a series of perplexing questions in American history, including, what does freedom mean? What does mainstream history leave out or ignore during this era? And what is the popular or proper relationship between individuals and government? So we're going to do all kinds of stuff, okay? I know you're like, Amanda, we totally don't care. How are you going to grade us? Well, a couple of different things. So it's very straightforward. 20% of your grade is participation. You are an online class, which means your participation is going to be graded through completing discussion boards. We do not have face-to-face live conversations in this class. We are going to do it through the magic of writing it down. There will be a discussion board each week that there is not a paper or exam, okay? And these will determine your attendance as well. So basically, you have weekly assignments in this class. You have to turn in the weekly assignments to be counted as present in the class. The discussion boards all together make up 20% of your grade. Okay? You will complete the discussion board, and you have to comment on at least 2 other students' posts. It's a discussion, right? And it says also think of these as mini papers. There is a discussion board FAQ document in the Welcome to History 131 tab on Blackboard. Check that out. And then if you have any other questions, let me know. 40% of your grade is exams. You have 3 exams in here, and I know you're like, well, that doesn't divide evenly between 40. You're right, it totally does not. So what I do is the first exam is only worth 10%. And that is because some of you may have never had a class with me before. My exams are multiple choice, true, false, and identification. And some of you may have never had to do identification. There is a video, an FAQ exam video under the week of the exam. There is a study guide. There is an example answer for an identification question. So there's lots of information for you to go through to kind of figure out what this test is going to be like. And then if you have questions after you've looked at all that information, please let me know. The first exam only counts for 10% because, again, you're not as familiar with the test format or, my style of test writing. So once you get through that first initial test, the second and third exams are each worth 15%. So the worth goes up a little bit after you've become more familiar with what to expect. The final 40% of your grade is papers. Papers. So you will write 2 3 to 5 page original argumentative essays based on course readings addressing major themes in the course. Each paper is worth 20%. Okay? And again, the weeks that these are due are up on the syllabus. They're going to be in the reading breakdown document, which you have seen if you've seen the Blackboard Tour video already. They are in every week in the assignments folder. It mentions under the dates if there's a major assignment due. So there is really no reason to not have these things turned in on time because the due dates are everywhere. Okay. Papers are submitted on Blackboard and run through SafeAssign to check for plagiarism. Please don't plagiarize. I have had to report students before. It is so frustrating because you are all so much smarter than that. And, I haven't even met some of you yet, and I know you're smarter than that. Please do not do it. It is a waste of your time. It is a waste of my time. And it really is just doing a disservice to you. You are paying for this class, so you should do the work for the class because you are paying to be in here. Okay. Late work policy. Discussion board assignments determine attendance and participation. I've said that already. Late submissions of discussion boards will not be accepted without a documented excuse. Just like if you were to not come to a seated class on a Wednesday when we met, I couldn't retroactively give you credit for being in the class and having a discussion with us, right? So that being said, I will excuse that or give you an extension to complete it for full credit if you have a documented excuse like a doctor's note, a death in the family, a hospitalization, some other sort of issue, but you have to have documentation for that. Papers must be turned in by the deadline given on Blackboard. Late submissions are deducted 3 points for each day. That is day, not class day. So that includes Saturdays, Sundays, all that. Every single day, they're 3 points off that they are late. No late work will be accepted once it has reached 2 weeks past due. Tests, the same kind of rule as discussion boards. They can be made up with a documented excuse, but otherwise it's not possible. Okay, just like if I was giving a test in class on a Monday and you weren't there, you would have to have some sort of documentation to make up the test. Okay. Writing requirements. We are going to write a lot. We're going to use MLA format in here. And everything is going to be class sources. You are not doing a research paper in here, so you will not use random, Britannica.org in a paper, okay? So you do not need to use internet sources. You will only use things that you find on Blackboard, Voices of Freedom, Give Me Liberty, and Lecture. So course materials only. So your internet sources are limited to what we've done in class. So you're not going to do like history.com or anything like that. There is a citation builder. You can see the link right there. You can click on that. That's NC State's library website. If you are struggling with MLA formatting, you can plug your information in there and it'll spit out a citation for you. There might be some extra credit. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. And grade scale is a 10-point scale. The grade center in Blackboard is like your home base for knowing what's going on with your grade. Okay, so each assignment has explicit instructions telling you what my expectations are. The primary focus is going to be quality of the content. Did you answer the question or questions? Did you support your answer or argument with the proper evidence from class readings? Formatting and mechanics will play a smaller but still important role in my assessment of your writing, and you need to see each assignment for the specific directions. Now, formatting and mechanics are smaller, but they're still important. And if it's to the point where you clearly did not proofread and I can barely read the paper, then it's really going to impact your grade. A typo here and there, you'll lose a couple points, won't be a big deal, but you really should proofread all of your work, okay? And I tend to read my stuff out loud before I send an email or submit anything for a conference or anything like that. I read it out loud because it helps me catch things, okay? I will make every effort to return tests and papers within 2 weeks and discussion boards within 1 week. I will provide comments to you using the feedback options in Blackboard. Feedback on the discussion boards will pare down as the semester goes on. Basically, after fall break, you will not get automatic individual feedback every week. You can email me for feedback after fall break, but by then, you've had about 7, 8 weeks of getting feedback from me, knowing what the issues are, and either you're using it to improve or you're ignoring it. So at that point, I'll give you grades, and if you want feedback, I will provide feedback, but you need to request it via email. When reviewing grades in the My Grades section, you can click on any underlined hyperlinked grade to see more details about that grade. When I provide feedback for assignments, you'll find them in this area. And I will comment directly on exams to make sure you get detailed feedback on your work. I am very big on letting people know opportunities they have to improve in the future. Again, if it counts for a bunch in the class, why shouldn't I help you improve, right? Why else are you doing it if you're not going to get better at it? And that's the plan, right? All right. Now, if I miss the deadline for 2 weeks or 1 week, you are going to know why. Okay. I had my grandfather passed away one spring semester. I let my students know. Paper grades were delayed because it was April, so it's a rough time in the semester to have to interrupt your schedule. But I think I was like a week late. But students knew in advance that I was going to be late. I let them know what was going on. So just like I expect for you to tell me what's going on with you, I will always do the same. Communication is two-way, and I will let you know if there's ever going to be a problem with getting things back to you within that window. Critical success strategies. Check your email. If I'm checking my email a ton, you should probably be checking your email a ton. This is going to be the way that I communicate with you. I send announcements out twice a week at least, so that's going to go out via email to everybody. All right, so if I've moved a date for something, oh, this is due next week instead, or hey, skip question whatever, or, add this source to this discussion board, or, be sure to comment about X, you will get that in an email. So it's important that you check your email, okay? All right, we're going to talk about a lot, and we're going to move kind of quickly. So make sure that you are reading. Make sure that you are completing discussion boards. Make sure that you are watching and or reading lectures. More on that later, but there are videos, and then the script is available on Blackboard as well. So you can just read the notes if that's better for you, or you can have the notes in front of you while you listen. I've had students in seated classes print the notes, bring them to class, and then highlight as I talk. So when they get like the really crucial stuff, they make sure that they note that. So more on that when we go to the Blackboard stuff, but you really need to take an active role in your success in the class, okay? We're going to use Blackboard. Duh. All right, lecture outlines. Okay, will be provided on Blackboard for you to fill out as you watch the lecture. These outlines will assist you in your note-taking. Lecture notes, the script I use to lecture from, is also available on Blackboard for your use. You should be in attendance each week. Use respectful language to refer to groups, individuals, and fellow students. Comments and feedback given to fellow students should be constructive. Harassment and inappropriate behavior will not be tolerated. Okay? We talk about a lot of hot topics in here: women's rights, racism and slavery, genocide, war. We've got all kinds of stuff that is still very relevant to the things that people talk about today. So we need to be respectful. Okay, I think it's absolutely fine to disagree with each other. In fact, it can be important, and some of the best discussions are based on disagreements, but we need to do that respectfully. All right? Please don't plagiarize again. Please don't plagiarize. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. You'll receive a 0 and be reported, and I just don't do it. All right. If you have any other questions, contact me via email. Again, if you can't make it to office hours, schedule an appointment with me and we can meet up. If you live out of town and you don't want to meet in person, we could do like a Skype or something like that and still have a face-to-face meeting. However you want to do that. Attendance! You have to be in class. That means you have to do the assignments. That's considered attending class, okay? You can miss 2 weeks. of class, and that is it. Once you miss that third week, you will be dropped. Okay? Again, if you're missing a week or two and something's, wrong or going on with you, let me know what's going on and we can extend those due dates. We can figure that out. Um, but you get 2 absences in here, okay? You can miss 2 weeks of stuff and then that's it. All right. Okay. Religious and solemn observance. People have religious beliefs, and that is awesome and very interesting. Um, And if you need to miss class for something having to do with your own personal religious beliefs or some sort of observance for your religious beliefs, super cool too. You just need to get me the proper form at least 2 weeks before you're going to miss class. Okay? And you will be able to make up all of that work for full credit. All right, so here at JCC, we have a faculty first policy. And I firmly believe that that is because we are all adults. So if you have any sort of issue with me, if I have said something that has offended you or anything like that, we're going to be talking via typed text a lot, right? And tone is not conveyed very well via text. Have you ever sent a text to somebody and it reminds me, there's a Key and Peele sketch. I don't know if anybody watched Key and Peele, but there's a Key and Peele sketch when Key and Peele are texting each other and Jordan Peele is like super chill, and Keegan Michael Key thinks he's like trying to fight him. And it's just they're texting. It's a total miscommunication because the tone is not properly conveyed when you text someone. Like you could text somebody and then they're like, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And you're like, "No, I was just asking a question." Um, that can happen. Miscommunications can happen like that. If anything like that happens and you have a concern with me or I've offended you in some way, please tell me. I will, you know, do that in kind, right? If you make a comment on someone's post and I think it might be inappropriate or, rude, I will contact you and let you know that. If you think that I am doing something and it concerns you, then you need to let me know, okay? Because we are all adults, and I wouldn't be in this job if I didn't love to learn, and I can learn new things every day. And if you can help me understand how to communicate more effectively because I've made some sort of mistake, I welcome that. Okay? So please let me know if you have an issue. Now, if you feel that the issue is too big to talk to me, you can talk to my department chair, who is also in the STEAM building. Okay? And then the next level up is on here as well. All right? So that is pretty much it. Not super fancy or anything, but it'll get the job done. If you have any questions about the syllabus or anything like that, please let me know. Again, make sure you have also looked at the Blackboard tour video and get ready to do that Introduce Yourself discussion board because that'll be due in the next few days. And that's pretty much it. I look forward to a fun fall semester. And yeah, just, have a great day and contact me with any questions.